Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but we also discuss how we're going to fix it together. The content that you're going to see tonight is going to make you smile. FPC, Firearms Policy Coalition, this is breaking news. They are going right after the jugular of the whole frames and receivers redefinition by the ATF. This is something that you're going to want to like and send out. This is something epic. There's everything we have linked in the description box below per usual, and if you are new, please consider giving us a like. It'll send that video further, and if you are not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and we would love to have you in the fold to press our rights forward every single day, twice a day. Thank you so much in advance for your consideration, and this content is brought to you by Core Essentials. The belt that I'm wearing, not only is it one of the sponsors of the channel, it's also a product I actually use, and there's a few things I want to show you. Now, Core makes the best fitting, most comfortable, secure gun belt you're ever going to wear. A hidden track with over 40 size positions that you can adjust on the move. The result is a perfect fit. The stiff Power Core center provides total support for your firearm and keeps it completely secure. Made with the best quality materials and warranted for a year, this is something you might be interested in. There's a link right down in the description, and thank you so much to Core for making this content possible. All right, my brothers and sisters, so this was sent to me, so I can't show you the exact source, but this is as of today. This was filed today, December 23rd. I'm telling you, FPC is going for the throat. They are not leaving anything to bear. Check this out. Again, this is about redefining frames and receivers. This encompasses everything that the ATF screwed up on when they made Biden's rules official. Check this out. This is for the United States District Court for the Northern District of Texas Fort Worth Division. This is this Vanderstock case. This is the one where the FPC and the SAF, the Second Amendment Foundation, are involved with tactical machining, just to set the table. Check this out. This is something that they just put in today, and I'm going to skip to the end to show you what they're requesting, because this is everything. Conclusion. For the foregoing reasons, plaintiffs respectfully request that the court vacate the final rule and enjoin its enforcement, dated this 23rd day of December 2022. Basically, let's make this thing not a thing anymore. They're moving forward. Now, in the past, there's been an injunction in favor of the plaintiffs, in this case, FPC and all the plaintiffs that I mentioned. But now they're asking the court to completely throw this out and make it go away. This is a big deal. And here is what they're going for. Listen to the reasons, because this is solid stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments field. Introduction. Under the U.S. Constitution, Congress, not the President and his subordinate agencies, maintains, quote, all legislative powers of the federal government. Here, though, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives and the Department of Justice usurped those powers when they promulgated the final rule. That is everything. What have we been talking about together on this channel since they came out with this and they announced it? The executive branch does not have the power to make rules, so they use the executive branch bureaucracies like the DOJ and the ATF to interpret rules through Chevron deference to make rules out of nothing based off of their interpretation. That's the crux of the problem. But listen, it keeps on going. In so doing, the agencies admitted to seizing the power of the pen from Congress because Congress failed to enact the president's desired policy objectives or to fulfill his campaign promise to stop the proliferation of so-called ghost guns. That constitutional coup produced the final rule before this court, one that violates both the Administrative Procedure Act and the Constitution. This thing is worded solid, but listen to the reasons that they state, because this is really, really good. Finally, the final rule violates the Constitution in three aspects. This is the important part. The final rule is too vague to provide adequate notice of what the law requires, violating the Constitution's guarantee of due process. Due process, that's a big one. Secondly, the final rule restricts and chills speech based on its content and speaker, violating the First Amendment. Freedom of speech, because remember they were saying you cannot put documents in that would help these people do things. That's chilling of speech. That's important to understand. That second one. Third one, by usurping Congress's legislative power, the final rule runs afoul of the delegation doctrine and take care clause. They are going after the jugular. If this works, that bad boy is toast until the higher court gets involved. But this is powerful stuff. Again, due process, freedom of speech, chilling effect on freedom of speech, and the takings clause and delegation doctrine. So let's walk into the first one here. The agencies failed to adequately explain their change of position. This is where they were kind of waffling back and forth. We covered it. A court cannot uphold an administrative agency's decision that amounts to an unexplained reversal of policy. An agency changing its course must supply a reasoned analysis. This is where Chevron deference comes in. Quote, it is established administrative law that if the agency fails to acknowledge a change in its position and adequately explain it, the changed position will be afforded no deference in litigation under either Chevron or I can never say that. It's AUER. Excuse me, AUER. That is so powerful because Chevron deference is where they're garnering all this power from. It's about the interpretation of the executive bureaucracies. That's what they're tying together. So now let's go on to part B. There's 3 parts here, A, B, and C. The final rule violates the First Amendment. This is elaborating on the chilling effect on free speech. The final rule unconstitutionally chills protected speech based on both the content and on the identity of the speaker and fails to satisfy the strict scrutiny mandated by the First Amendment. This is where they're going after what's actually on documentation inside these kits. According to the agencies, a non-firearm, accompanied by certain expressive materials, instructions, and marketing materials, is subject to regulation as a firearm depending on the content of those materials and if those materials are provided by the seller. Without those expressive materials, an NFO is not a firearm and thus unregulated by the agencies. What they're saying is, it's not a firearm ever unless you include speech on instructions. That's where the chilling effect is coming in. You're saying you can't put speech. It's not a firearm until you put speech in place. So you're saying that speech is what you're regulating. That's what they're going for here. And that is powerful because it's extremely strict around First Amendment rights as well. Let's keep going. Here comes Charlie. The final rule violates the Constitution's separation of powers. With the final rule, the agencies assert for the first time the authority to regulate a plethora of items, including tools or equipment that can be used to manufacture a, quote, frame or receiver as well as speech. No such authority is found in the statute passed by Congress, something the agencies themselves have acknowledged. The executive usurpation of legislative power violates constitutional doctrines that safeguard its separation of powers, namely the delegation doctrine and the take care clause. They are going after the whole enchilada here, and they've got some amazing stuff. They've got due process, they've got freedom of speech, and now they're going after the separation of powers, all of which encompasses a very strong case, as I mentioned, going after the jugular of this entire rule, asking to vacate and enjoin the entire thing. Let me know what you guys think in the content of this video. If I landed this plane correctly, let me know, and thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next video. I'm Braden. See you later.